Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the first day of a whole new era of the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. Cameron, please do not mess this up. Remember, with great power comes great respect? Is it respect or something like that? Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as sleeve gastrectomy and polywanta cracker. So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London. I'm hyped. I may be a little too excited. I need to calm down. This is the first day of the new era of this podcast. Is the best way I can describe it, because our DJ Dylan has finally given me permission to play a sound effect.
Yes.
I'm only allowed one a week. That's it. I'm just one sound effect. But he tells me the one I have to do because he says I'm not ready for a lot of them. I'm not, the laser zapping noise or the cha-ching noise. I just get too excited with it. It's exciting. So he's given me this clip, and this is the only sound effect that I'm allowed to use. So I will be using it a lot.
Just don't throw up, okay? Don't throw up for this.
Why?
Just the anxiety. I know, like, I get that you're...
I feel so nauseous, though.
That you're ready for this one?
I sick to my stomach.
No, I get that you're... But DJ Dylan's really trusting you with this, so just...
Okay.
Try not to throw up.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a sip of this beer I have here. Okay. Oh, yum. That was really good. Now, I'm going to play this sound effect, and I'm going to play it a lot in this episode, so be prepared.
I'm preparing now.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Let me tell you about my day so far. Coffee in Paris, surfed the Maldives, took a little nap on Mount Kilimanjaro. Oh yeah, and I got digits from this Polish chick in Rio.
I'm sorry, is this... What? So you said the laser sounds were out.
Yes. This is a clip from, I believe, the ending of the 2011 film Jumper. I don't really remember the plot. I think it's just that he can jump from one place to another.
Really high.
This is the only clip that Dylan said I could handle. He said it's a really good beginner sound effect. I can't really mess up with it.
Yeah.
But I will be using this an ungodly amount of times. Just incredible.
Did he say anything about like copyright issues or?
I think Dylan owns the copyright to this movie Jumper.
Yes. Let me tell you about my day so far.
And you're sure the laser sounds were out?
I specifically asked for the laser sounds, and he said I'm gonna end up lasering my foot off. It was almost like he was trying to find a way to say, like, you'll shoot your eye out, kid, but then forgot the line halfway through and then was like, I'll shoot you're going to laser your foot off.
Yeah, he's really good at the first parts of a lot of phrases.
Yeah. Or just the general idea.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Let me tell you about my day so far.
No, okay. So anyway, that was our producer, Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house.
Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me far. Let me far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far. Let me tell you about my day so far.
This clip is perfect for asking someone about their day.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my day so far.
I don't even have to play the
coffee in Paris, surfed the Maldives.
listing countries and stuff like that. Just that beginning clip. I mean, that's so useful. And how am I not using that properly?
Okay. I guess because you didn't ask me about my day for one thing. And I also feel like if you did, you just interrupt me with that.
Well, would you like to talk about your day a bit?
So
Let me tell you about my day so far.
So I guess if I
Coffee
could tell
in Paris.
a little bit about. So do you see how?
Polish chicken Rio.
Okay. And a Polish chick? What kind of? It's pretty crass. Anyway.
What? Just because they're Polish?
So anyway, Cameron tells me that later we can expect a special guest. So
That's right, Dr. London.
yeah, and hopefully maybe we'll ask them about their day, and maybe they'll get to answer
Let me tell you about my day so far.
without being interrupted. Okay, so before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. For a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of punk skater kids whose shoes were constantly tied together because that's how they tie their shoes in the streets. However, in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. So, Cameron, could you ask the air fryer for the listener feedback?
Yeah.
Dear hosts of the Jock podcast, I'm a very immature robot, a childlike machine. I listened to this week's episode and I'm still trying to figure out what a banana is. Can you please explain? Thank you, robot.
Okay. Well, given that our previous demographic was primarily the punk skater kids, I guess it makes sense that our bot listeners would be also childlike.
Yes.
So, let's see. So they want to know what a banana is.
They're still trying to figure it out.
Okay. What? Because I could say it's a fruit, but then
Well, that's the thing. It's like, so this is a robot that probably has access to all the information in
Yeah.
the world. So they probably know what a banana looks like. But their question is really, I'm trying to figure out what a banana is.
yeah, it's more of a philosophical question. I could tell you that, philosophically, I don't eat as many bananas in this country as I do in other countries.
Okay. And is that you just hate American-made bananas? Or?
Well, it's just the the GMO, and then it's also more fresh in other countries. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah. So, does that answer the question?
Let me tell you about my day so far. Coffee in Paris, surfed the Maldives.
He might say banana.
Took a little nap on Mount Kilimanjaro. No,
No, okay, I don't think he's going to say
No,
banana.
yeah, he's not going to say banana.
Okay. That really, if he did, then that really would have helped.
That would have been so useful.
Yeah.
And if
we
he
gotta-
explained what it was in a philosophical, existential sense,
Yeah.
that would have helped so much if that was the jumper clip that Dylan gave me permission to use.
You know what? It's one of these lessons. We got to do a reboot of Jumper.
We've got to do a reboot of Jumper. I've been saying it.
Yes. Just reboot of Jumper. Give it, let's pack the script in with banana facts, philosophical and otherwise.
Yes.
'Cause that's
Finally.
Yeah,
Finally a movie for me, Just the everyman who just wants to come home, sit down after a day of work and watch a movie about a guy who jumps through wormholes and talks about bananas way too much, just an insane amount.
let me tell you about my day so far.
Okay, well, we can move on. Thank you to this listener for the question. And we can just move on.
Let me tell you about my day so far.
Now for today's medical topic, type 1 diabetes mellitus. The name diabetes mellitus is taken from the Greek word diabetes, meaning to pass through, and the Latin word mellitus, meaning sweet. This is because patients would pass a lot of urine, and that urine would taste sweet. So this is because insulin normally helps the body to absorb sugar, known as glucose, and type 1 diabetes mellitus is an insulin deficiency. So instead of being absorbed into the cells and tissues of the body, the lack of insulin allows glucose to pass through and come out in the urine. Type 1 diabetes mellitus typically has an onset in childhood with insulin dependence from an early age. And unlike in type 2 diabetes, it's not related to obesity.
And
So-
is this, I think it's kind of rude to rank them. Do you do that with all diseases? Like two people come in with colon cancer and you're like, all right, colon cancer 1, you come with me, colon cancer 2, sorry.
It's type 1, yeah. I mean, I would say not rank so much as categorize, but someone's a 10, someone's a 3.
Sure. Does it change? Is it like the Billboard charts where depending on if something's more popular or not, it moves up or down on the ranking?
To some extent, depending on the research, the genetics, yes, it does change. I would say not quite as fast as the Billboard stuff,
okay,
because those are just expensive.
Oh.
Once we get Billboard technology into medicine, I have to assume that we'll improve the speed of changing the names of diagnoses.
So has Diabetes 3 been released yet? Is that out?
To my knowledge, do you want me to? I'll try to hack and check it.
Well, just go ahead with your lesson. It might mention it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. The most common symptoms of diabetes mellitus, and that's of any type, are polyuria, which is increased urination, polydipsia, which is increased thirst, and polyphagia, which is increased hunger. Decreased wound healing is also common in diabetic patients. A diagnosis of diabetes mellitus is made with one of the following. They'll have 2 fasting blood glucose levels over 125 milligrams per deciliter, or a single blood glucose level over 200 milligrams per deciliter with classic associated symptoms, like we reviewed recently, or an increased glucose level on oral glucose tolerance testing. Hemoglobin A1C over 6.5% is a diagnostic criterion and is the best test to follow treatment response over several months. So after you treat them, then you look at the hemoglobin A1C. Hemoglobin A1C...
Have we thought about for Diabetes 3? I mean, I'm thinking complete overhaul, right? Sort of like rebooting Jumper. We're rebooting it. This is for Gen Z.
Okay.
This is 3.0. This is the future.
So is it...
And
okay.
I'm thinking like TikToks and huge social media campaign.
Here's one issue with it, because there is sort of already a type 3, but it's not a mellitus. There is diabetes insipidus, which is it's just different, but it's still a diabetes.
Is there type 4?
No, but there also isn't a type 3. Like, I'm just saying it's because it's not, because it can't be a type 3 diabetes because diabetes is too general.
I think this is fine, right? This is sort of like didn't the Xbox or something like skip a generation name to catch up or whatever? Can we just skip? Just who cares? 3, whatever. It's confusing. We're talking about Diabetes 4. It's the future. You've got Doja Cat in the mix, Dua Lipa, just really popular artists. Like I said, social media campaign, dances, maybe like astroturfing.
Right? Do you think? Because
really get this thing going and do it right this time.
What that had me thinking is the Xbox 360. That skipped a lot of numbers.
Oh, yes.
So what if we skip 4? Let's go straight to 360 or 3,280 or, some other really appreciated number.
This is
7?
This is going to sound silly.
Okay.
But I'd love to do my my dog's birthday.
That is silly.
Yeah.
But really.
And that's 666.
Hemoglobin A1C is a protein in blood cells that has been changed by exposure to increased blood sugar levels. Treatment for type 1 diabetes mellitus typically involves lifelong insulin therapy because in these patients, the pancreas simply isn't producing the required insulin. Most patients require 2 or more injections of insulin a day, with doses adjusted based on their self-monitoring of blood glucose levels.
I guess a modern way to do it would be, instead of, diabetes 666, just do a 6 and like to the 3rd power. I know that's not what 666 is, but like kids are stupid. Who cares? It's just a graphic change.
Yeah. And the Kids Are Stupid Who Cares campaign, which I know you ran for years.
It got me elected. Yeah, there was a campaign I ran.
Type 1 diabetes mellitus, the management can become difficult and complicated, so it can involve physicians, but also nurses, dietitians, and selected specialists. So it's really more to manage than just what I said. But
okay, go with me here for a second. All right, we're talking about, what if the next one is this number and this number and this number? What is the most popular thing in the world right now?
Yeah. 8-legged freaks. Yes.
So what they did with 8-legged freaks is they have this entire universe all these movies, TV shows, comic books, pencil toppers, all this kind of stuff. And if we could do that with diabetes, Dr. London.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we can move on from there.
Let me tell you about my day so far.
All right, Cameron, you said that we have a special guest today. Is that right?
That's right, Dr. London. We have a guest who is on for the very first time.
Wow. Okay. Well, hello there. My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this is our producer, Cameron. What was your name?
Hello. My name's Terry Frederico. How are you boys tonight?
I'm good. Yeah, that's
A man from across the pond. Is that correct?
It's not correct, actually. I'm from South Carolina, down here in the States.
Cameron, I told you that's a South Carolina accent.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't assume, accents and stuff like that. That was wrong of me.
It's quite rude, yes.
You have a beautiful, South Carolinian accent.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. So, what brings you here? You just, all the way from South Carolina, because we're recording this from across the pond. So I guess technically you were right, Cameron. Today, so across the pond actually was accurate to say
So
South Carolina.
Is this an apology or?
Yeah, I'm apologizing
Okay,
here.
cool.
Let me tell you about my day so far.
My day's great. Thanks for asking. So that's really nice of you to ask that.
Oh wow, that's really. Have you done anything fun today?
No,
Oh, just been at
just
home.
another day having a British accent when I'm not from that place. I can't help myself.
Oh, so it is a British accent. You're just not.
Sometimes it just changes sometimes. And that's part of the reason I'm here is I don't understand why my Alexa can't understand me anymore. And every time I open my mouth, different words pop out.
And
So I just want to
technically, it's not an Alexa; it's an Echo, and Alexa is the Echo's monster.
Well, me Echo can't understand me Alexa monster anymore because my voice doesn't stay the same.
Dr. London, have you heard of this ailment before? This changing accents?
Yeah, it's freaking me out right now.
Yeah. Okay. And that's another change. So one of the issues that can happen is, you're trying to go through your day and people do confuse you. And I know for me, at least, whenever I've run into patients like this, they keep on having, they're mistaken for celebrities all the time because their accent's so good.
Right. It's like crazy sometimes because sometimes I'm just like walking and they're like, oh my God, are you that guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and then my voice comes out and then my dog doesn't even like me anymore because
Right.
I say, come on. And it's like, whatever, dude. I don't even know
wow.
you.
Mm-hmm. The
And so-
dog
Breaks my
hate.
heart.
Yes.
So, Dr. Lennon, the question was, have you ever heard of this ailment? And then you said you see patients sometimes who think you're a celebrity. Is that
Yes.
that was your answer to that question? Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
just making sure everything tracked logically.
So yeah. And the patients have really complained about this. So I guess one of the major questions would be, just to sort of get to the bottom of this thing and how we can help you. What celebrities have you been mistaken for?
I get like Brad Pitt sometimes.
Yeah, with the
And I get
British.
Gal Gadot a lot,
Yes.
even though I'm like 6.5 feet tall and like a dude all the time.
So you're like half a foot shorter than her.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes I get like Sean Connery
Oh, R.I.P.
and that dude, that Indian guy whose name I can't remember.
Aziz Ansari.
But and then like there's just all these guys and sometimes other people and I don't know. It just makes me sad because I just want to talk with my voice. I don't even remember what my voice sounds like anymore.
So this you haven't had this forever, these accents.
Now I took a wicked hard header off a wicked big BMX jump when I was 8.
Right.
And when I woke up, I was like, whoa, here I am.
Oh, wow. You were 8 years old going, whoa, what's going on here?
I was like, whoa, Sandy.
Oh, wow. Terry, has this been hard on you your entire life? I mean, do people get upset or do they think you're lying or anything like that?
Yeah, man, it's been rough, man. Sometimes I'm sitting and they think I'm making fun of their accent and I don't even mean to. And sometimes it just goes away in the middle of me talking or it changes. And then I'm like, whoa, again. It's crazy.
Well, and I mean, you're such a man of mystery with all these accents.
It's very true. Sometimes it just goes away entirely, and then I just have a regular voice again for some reason.
I mean, have you tried to find like positives to this? Because it sounds like it's kind of beating you down, but it doesn't sound like it's that bad, right? Just having an accent every once in a
it
while?
ain't that bad, you know. I mean, sometimes you just get them, and when you're talking to people, they just say, "Hey, what you doing talking over here like this?" And then I say, "Well, man, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just over here talking." And they say, "Well, you know." And then I say, "Well, yeah, I mean, I do know. You know, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, it could be worse."
Have you thought about getting into like voice acting? I mean, think about it. You basically have a million voices living in your head.
I tried it, and I just couldn't do it. It was too hard sometimes.
To pick a show at random, season 37 or whatever of The Simpsons. You know all those people are going to die soon. You think Hank Azaria is going to live forever? Hell no.
Nope.
Someone's got to do those voices. And The Simpsons have been really having a good time with replacing people's voices lately. So if you could find like a white guy in the show and you're like, it's kind of offensive that you have Hank Azaria doing all these, you could use a guy like me. Boom. Suddenly you're making SAG minimum. I mean, Terry, does this sound appealing to you, getting on The Simpsons?
I say, I don't mind the sound of that. I could always use a little bit of money for the slush fund.
I'm hearing a hint of, foghorn, leghorn in that voice. Have you run into like copyright issues at all with?
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes they say you can't say that here, and I say, well, I don't know what I'm saying, because sometimes I'm the crazy Cajun, and I don't know.
Terry, when did you find out that you had the syndrome?
Bruh, I found out like right after I woke up in the hospital, because again, I woke up and I was like, hey, Mom and Dad, what's going on over here? And they're like, whoa, who are you?
So you mentioned your parents. Has this been like an issue has this ailment like caused any sort of a rift in the family? I could imagine if my son had such a disease being like, well, this isn't a son I can love anymore,
Yeah, it's pretty rough sometimes, honestly. They don't treat me the same as they used to.
Before you were 8?
Before I was 8. Yeah.
Do you think
rough.
some of that could have just been sort of the age difference and then puberty hitting and going to college or whatever?
I mean, I don't know that hitting the puberty really changed my voice that much. Because it kind of already changed like all the time. Like you can tell, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm just talking normal to you boys. But then I don't know what happens sometimes. Just words come out and then people say, hey, what's that weird voice? And I say, I don't know, man. I'm just talking to you. Just ordering a pizza.
Well, I guess my question was more about your parents treating you differently because you're going through like a teenage rebellion phase and that kind of thing.
Well, my parents didn't really like me after I took the wicked header off the jump.
Right.
You see, because they wanted me to be a pro BMXer. And then, that was
okay,
started. That was the
this.
beginning of the end.
Okay.
That Dr. London's parents were the same before they passed. Before he was 4, they were the same way, and they were so disappointed that he wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah, they wanted me to be a pro BMXer as well.
Yeah, why would you be a doctor when you could be a badass BMX rider?
I'm an underachiever, I guess is all of it. Underachiever. My parents, and they were driving me to BMX boot camp, and they were gonna make me do that, but then the accident.
It was really boring.
So, which your
parents died, you were 4.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, raised by an orphanage. Yeah. As much as we've been doing the real clinical work of diagnosing me and reviewing Terry's stuff, I think maybe we should go ahead and turn to the actual tasks at hand, which would be the chores.
Let me explain what we're talking about. Dr. London and I have been neglecting everything on our to-do list for weeks now, and we made this fun chore wheel. And anytime we have something to do, we throw it on the chore wheel, and then we spin it once a week, and whatever it lands on, that is the chore we have to do. And Dr. London, even if the chore is to clip off your chin, you have to do it, because that's the chore. I know you hate doing that. Terry, would you do us a favor and spin the chore wheel for us?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, no.
Ugh, not those.
I knew we'd have to do this. Okay. All right, look, the holidays are coming up. I know they're still over a month away at this point, but...
I mean, one of the holidays passed, but yes.
Yeah, but the post office is slow. This is just the reality. And so if we want to get our letters to Krampus in, we have to send that today. This is the deadline. So, guys, we got to write our letters to Krampus. So just, what you want to wish from Krampus, or if you want to apologize because he does have a bit of a temper. And
yeah. Okay. Well, and one thing I want to clarify for our listeners: Krampus is not Crampy.
No.
We're the Jock podcast is owned by the Koala Cola Corporation.
Yes.
And their mascot is, of course, Crampy Koala.
Yes.
His famous catchphrase, "It tastes just like Down Under." I just want to clarify that Crampy has nothing to do with Krampus.
No.
Not, at least, like, there are rumors that maybe they're going to be joining up for something, but nothing's official. Nothing's out there.
There were a lot of social media campaigns because Crampy was going out in the middle of the night and, putting children in like a burlap sack, but like
unrelated.
They got free soda for a year. I mean, everything was squared away. Crampy's good. This is not Crampy. We're talking about Krampus.
We're not talking about Crampy. Not talking about the genetically modified koala who represents this giant corporation in Australia. So our letters to Krampus.
Yeah, Dr. London, do you want to start?
Dear Krampus. I'm sorry, should I say Mr. Krampus? Or is there a gender here that I should... Ms.? Should I say Ms.? Is that better?
Ms. Krampus? I think that's pretty good.
Okay. Ms. Krampus. Lost my sack of kids. Owe you one. And then in parentheses, or two, winky face. And parentheses, catch you on the flippity flop. Try not to follow me this time, because I'm going to lay some traps behind me when you visit. Signed, second best, DrLondonSmith.com.
Wow. That honestly read like a sext.
Thank you. That's... But Terry, do you want to write your letter to Krampus?
Oh, I'd love to. Hey, Crampy girl, how you doing tonight? You're looking good today. That sack's looking real full of babies and ladies in it. I love it. I love when you beat them with the sticks. Oh, it makes me so happy. I'm glad you're doing a good job, and I'll see you at the end of Christmas. Love, Terry.
Now, the only downside to that is you did say Crampy, which we really tried to emphasize is...
Crampy girl, that's a pet name.
Like...
Yeah, he did say Crampy girl, Dr. London.
Okay.
That's my girl. The cloven hooves are so hot this
when
time
we put
of
it in
year.
the mailbox, I'm just scared of who it's going to go to. Because, the mailman determines that. So,
yeah.
I guess we'll see.
If you've been good that year, he'll deliver it to
Crampy,
the address you put on there. If he doesn't, he sends it to your mom. Yes, we know how the mailman operates.
I just want to let you know the risks you're taking. But all right, Cameron.
All right. Dear Krampus, the shoes you got me last year suck. My feet have been bleeding endlessly for 3-4 days now. I refuse to take them off. Yes, I've been wearing them for almost a year now, day in and day out for 24 hours a day. And they only started bleeding the last 3-4 hours. But I assumed these shoes would be higher quality than that. So I demand new, better shoes. You have 2 days. All
right. I think we did it, though. I think we got the letters done. Thank you so much for being on here, Terry. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you're a fan of?
Yeah, so my great grandmother's sister's niece's neighbor has an awesome comedy podcast. It's called the Black Lincoln Collective. Check them out at blcpodcast.com or twitter.com/blcworld, facebook.com/blcpodcast, or blc podcast on Instagram.
Awesome.
They're all right.
Thank you again, Terry. Thank you to our producer, Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the host.
I mean, it ain't that bad, you know. I mean, sometimes you're talking to people, they just say, hey, what you doing talking over here like this? And then I say, well, man, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just over here talking. And they say, well, you know. And then I say, well, yeah, I mean, I do know. You know. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, it could be worse.
My name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
Coffee in Paris, surfed the Maldives, took a little nap on Mount Kilimanjaro.
See ya.